What's up, guys? It's Christian here, and today we'll be doing a video on the National League divisions in Major League Baseball and how I think they will go going forward, where they stand currently, and maybe even who will get in the playoffs. But let's just get right ahead with the National League East. And the leading team in that division currently is the Philadelphia Phillies with a 12-9 record. And this team made a big move in the offseason, getting Bryce Harper from the Nationals in a 13-year deal that'll pretty much keep him there for the rest of his career. I think it'll end when he's 39. Upon other deals, Gene Segura was brought in, JT Realmuto, McCutchen. I think there's other guys, but those are the biggest ones. Now, the biggest thing with that team is the offensive power they have there. And as you can tell, they've already scored 116 runs, which is probably one of the best so far, I think, or it's in the middle of the pack, but that's not bad. But the problem is with that team is a lack of depth. Now, if they bring guys up or make some moves in the offseason, maybe not, but at the moment, I think their first guy off their bench is Scott Kingery, who's now on the DL. They do have some other guys on the DL who are Gene Segura just went on the DL, I believe. Their pitching is okay, but they have only really two good starters, and one of them is Aaron Nola, who's got above a 6 ERA at the moment. So the team isn't as functioning as well as it could. The bullpen, I think, is okay. I think they got Dave Roberts in the offseason, but there's still some lack of bullpen in there. But I think that they definitely have a chance to challenge not only for the wild card or maybe even win this division. And the second team, which two teams are tied for second, are the New York Mets and the Atlanta Braves. Now, being a Mets fan, I've watched, I think, almost every single game, or at least part of every game. But definitely something that the Mets have been great at is their offense at the moment. Pete Alonso has been leading the reins. You got Michael Conforto as well, and Wilson Ramos. Jeff McNeil's batting over 300 and something. He's like top 5 in the National League at the moment. And that's all good, and they have scored 114 runs, only 2 less than the Phillies. But the problem is that the team has a lack of pitching and a lack of bullpen at the moment. Even some of their best starters, their Cy Young winner Jacob deGrom is struggling, who just went on the DL for barking at his elbow, which reportedly isn't even barking anymore. But other starters as well, Steven Matz, Zach Wheeler, Syndergaard, they're all struggling at some point so far. The only one that really was doing good was Steven Matz before he gave 10 runs to the Phillies in the first inning.
That is scorched, and it is dropped by McNeil off the wall. 1 run is in. Harper's being held. He goes through the stop sign. He'll score.
And the bullpen's also been up and down. Really, only cornerstone has been Edwin Diaz, but Robert Gesellman's looked better. But Jerry's Familia, Seth Lugo, some of their lefties, Justin Wilson, have been struggling. And I think the team, if hopefully gets healthy with some of the guys especially struggling in the rotation, I think they could definitely challenge the Phillies for this division. And the next team is the Atlanta Braves, who have a very, very loaded offense, but the problem is pitching. But ironically, last night, Max Fried was absolutely exceptional against the Cleveland Indians, basically destroying that entire lineup. And, I mean, they had 7 runs, but he looked pretty good for most of the innings he pitched. But pitching's going to be definitely their problem. I don't think they can win this division. I think they'll either, at worst, get a wild card, or, at best, wild card, but I think they're going to finish 4th in this division. And somebody that's going to be ahead of them is the Washington Nationals, who have a 10-10 record. And this is mostly due to Anthony Rendon looking like an MVP candidate early, not as much as Bellinger and Yelich, but the fact that he's still raking for them is incredible. They have a very good pitching staff with the signing of Patrick Corbin from the Arizona Diamondbacks, but just like the Mets, they have a very bad bullpen, and the guys like Kelvin Herrera, or no, he's gone now. The only good guy right now at the moment is Sean Doolittle, their closer. But other than that, I think Trevor Rosenthal at one point had an infinity ERA. He couldn't even record it now. They definitely struggle in the bullpen. But I think they can definitely challenge for this division. Maybe get a wild card, but it depends on Trey Turner, who's going to come back, but Anthony Rendon as well. And now we have my Marlins, basically a rebuilding team, not going to do anything this year. And that's it for the NL East. Now we have the NL Central, which is also a very close division, led by the 12-7 Pittsburgh Pirates. And that's due to their exceptional pitching so far from, I think, Musgrove Joe Musgrove, maybe, if I could be wrong, has an under 1 ERA, which is crazy at the moment. But I think they're a pretender at the moment, and I think that they're gonna drop. Whether they finish third or better in the division is to be determined, but I don't think they have enough hitting, and some of their guys just got hurt. Starling Marte, I don't know if anybody else did, but I think that they're a pretender and they're not going to challenge for the division. And the team in second place is the 12-9 St. Louis Cardinals, who I think could possibly win the division, maybe challenge for a wild card. And that's really due to the great offense they have at the moment. Paul DeJong has been exceptional. Goldschmidt looks a lot better. Ozuna is having a better year. Martinez in right field. Yair Molina. They have a pretty good lineup. I think that they definitely could challenge the Brewers, who we'll talk about after, for this division. Whether they get it or not will come down to their pitching. They do have an all-star closer, Jordan Hicks, who's throwing 102 consistently. And with like a 95 or an 89 mile-an-hour slider. He looked exceptional against the Mets this weekend, which I was watching. But I think that they have a chance to get the Brewers in this division. Whether they do or not will come down to their pitching. They do have some good guys. Michaelos, who I saw go get eight innings and only gave 2 runs to the Mets. And I think they definitely have a chance. And now the team that they're going to have to beat is the Milwaukee Brewers, 13-10. And as you can know, Yelich is one of the best players in baseball this year. Was last year. He's got 13 home runs at the moment. But another thing with them is their pitching is very suspect. They really only have Zach Davies, and they're waiting for Jimmy Nelson, I believe, to come back. They have Josh Hader in the bullpen, but pitching, I worry it will hurt them down the stretch. They should have made some deals. They might get Craig Kimbrell. I don't know who's going to get him. Or Dallas Keuchel. Still unknown which way they're going to go, but I think they definitely should win this division, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Cardinals can keep it close, especially with the lack of pitching the Brewers have. And now we have the 10-10 Chicago Cubs, one of the best runs in recent history, with them being almost in the playoffs every year recently, but I think that this year is just a year where they're not going to be able to do enough. It just looks like they're a very old veteran team who are just running out of gas at the moment. They have some good players, Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, but they have some trash contracts like Jason Hayward's contract is toxic to that team. Pitching's okay, but I don't think they have enough to challenge in this division. I think they're going to challenge with the Pirates for 3rd or 4th. And now we have the Cincinnati Reds, similarly to the Marlins, a rebuilding team, but made some moves in the summer for Alex Wood, Yasiel Puig, Matt Kemp. They have Scooter Gennett's going to come back, Joey Votto, and Eugenio Suarez at third base. So they have definitely have some pieces, but they need a lot, definitely pitching-wise, to make a run maybe next year in the division, but I don't think they're going to do much this year. And now we have the most wide open division in the National League, the National League West. And this is only because the Los Angeles Dodgers are a World Series contender again. Thanks to Cody Bellinger, Corey Seager, upon other things, they have a really very good team. And that's also just down to the fact they're going to win this division by a lot, because the second best team is the San Diego Padres, who are super young, got Manny Machado, got Tatis Jr. at shortstop, Eric Hosmer, but they don't have enough. And the other 3 teams, the Diamondbacks, the Rockies, and Giants, are all rebuilding. The Diamondbacks gave up A.J. Pollock, Goldschmidt, other guys too. They're just a rebuilding team. The Rockies are very weird. They're not rebuilding, but they're just not good enough to win that division or get a wild card. They're really relying on Arenado and Trevor Story, but they got rid of DJ LeMahieu. I don't know who else they got rid of, but Ottavino out of the bullpen to the Yankees. But they're not a pretender, but they're not good enough to win this division. They're probably going to win close to 80 games maybe, but they're not going to win the division or get a wild card. And then you have the San Francisco Giants, who are also really similar to the Rockies, a team that thinks they're good but isn't good enough to win this division. They got Bumgarner, who's been not as good as he used to be. Evan Longoria's deal last year. They have some other guys. Kevin Pillar they just traded for, which isn't going to be a good deal, regardless of how he plays. But I think that the Dodgers are going to run away with this division, and nothing's going to stop them from doing that. And that's my take on the first 20-ish games in the National League. Please let me know what you think about the National League in the comments below. Please like, subscribe, and just give me any video ideas in the comments below. Thank you.